Hello YouTube, March 12, 2019. I'm back with some political talks. And today, as you can tell by the title, we're here to discuss the hypocrisy and the double standards that Senator Hilary Clinton, former First Lady Hilary Clinton, faces compared to her male counterparts, Bernie. Today we're going to discuss Bernie Sanders, who's currently running for President of the United States for a second time as the progressive candidate on the alt-left. You know how we have the alt-right Donald Trump? I guess they trying to counteract him with the alt-left. And I don't think, over-progressive is necessarily the way to go. You don't fight one wrong with an overly, other end of wrong. And we'll get into that in a whole nother video. And then you got Joe Biden. Joe Biden, everybody is assuming is good because President Barack Obama put him as the vice president. But don't look into his history, which I told y'all way back in 2016. But we're going to reiterate why I'm not here for Joe Biden running for president either. So let's go ahead and get into what, people always hoop and holler about Senator Hilary Clinton for. So we're going to go ahead and not beat around the bush. We're going to go ahead and talk about this 1993 crime bill. And, even though I reiterated, earlier, years ago that, the crime bill was introduced as a way to counteract drugs and violence, but it inadvertently worked against black people. And even though it's the Senate that's supposed to have, once they realized that it was targeting black people disproportionately, and were being framed, there should have been some modifications to it, which is something that is outside of the presidency branch of legislation that goes into the Senate branch. I get them confused which one is the legislator, which one's the judicial. I know the presidency is the executive branch, and I want to say that the Senate is the judicial branch. Don't quote me on that, but whatever. It's the Senate that's supposed to actually modify the law. And then, of course, it goes before the president to finally sign off of it. So, my thing is this. Of course, Bill Clinton was going through the sex scandal with the Monica Lewinsky and everything else. And he still managed to leave, the United States in a surplus at the time that he left office. Now, tell me how in the world, all these years later, Senator Hilary Clinton always get the blame for this darn crime bill as the first lady, when the first lady, we don't establish, does not hold any power to even negotiate any laws. Even the president, which was a husband, only can propose the law. He can make a recommendation, but ultimately the Senate has to pass said laws. There's only a certain amount of stuff that the president can go and do outside of, the other two branches, which is, start wars and stuff like that. He can also have the power to veto certain bills. But mostly, the Senate is the one that ultimately creates the laws. Now, he can propose laws, but the Senate has to put the law into motion. Now, all these years later, people are still complaining about Hillary Clinton and this darn crime bill, right? But they never seem to mention the fact that Joe Biden was the one that actually signed the crime bill into law. It was his signature that signed the crime bill into law. And you, as the person who signed it into law, don't you think he would have more voice and power as a part of the Senate to make the proposal on the Senate floor to change it, considering that, he was there even after the Clintons left, because there is no term limit on the Senate versus, the presidency is only 8 years. And then, like I said, the first lady can't really propose anything at all. She can only make suggestions. But somehow, the first lady is getting more blame than her husband, than the senator who signed it into law. And what turned out recently is none other than Bernie Sanders, also champion for the crime bill as well. Another senator who was here for it. And then, not only that, to add insult to injury, his excuse for it was taking credit for one major bill in particular that actually Hilary Clinton was the one that put forth. And that is the 1994 Violence Against Women Act that provides financial and technical assistance to states to help them develop programs that stop domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking for women. Now, I did my extensive research and found out it was actually Senator Hilary Clinton that actually added that and put that into motion. And she has the long repertoire and history of those types of bills, unlike Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, not to take away from Bernie Sanders. Yes, he's been a long time champion of, education reform, and he done some civil rights and stuff back in the day. Not taking nothing for him. But also, let's give credit where credit's due to Senator Hilary Clinton. Now, I find it funny that when he was asked that question on the Breakfast Club, everybody just, took his answer and said, oh, okay, it's good. But when Senator Hilary Clinton gave her responses, and she was the one that actually put forth those recommendations and those darn on bills, she made those suggestions and had it got them pushed in. People were still saying, oh, she's darn gonna kill Hillary and all this. They didn't look into the fact that just 10 years prior, back in the 1980s, she was also responsible for getting young black children out of adult prisons in South Carolina, in the Deep South. She took teenage children out of darn adult prisons and made sure they was put back in juvenile detention centers. But then y'all want to say that this is the same woman who spearheaded the crime bill for the intention of targeting black kids and grown folks, but she has a history of doing the opposite. But meanwhile, y'all don't have nothing to say about Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Joe Biden, who y'all are champion for presidency, who actually had the power and direct authority to make modifications to the crime bill, but y'all are trying to hold the First Lady accountable. Now, I'm just going to let that marinate in. And then upon further research of some things that she's known for, she was responsible for the helping out, taking out Osama bin Laden. She's also directly responsible for nearly every major foreign policy as Secretary of State underneath the President Obama term. Let me see. I mean, it's a long list of stuff that she is responsible for that nobody ever gives her credit for. But like I said, what gets me the most is the fact that when it comes to this crime bill, it seems like we keep going across this thing over and over again. Then she is going to keep getting blamed for this crime bill. But it's the Senate that all this time could have made the modification, and neither Bernie Sanders nor Joe Biden ever darn gonna try to make any type of modifications to said crime bill. And now, as of today, he's going back on this free college tuition for 4 years, which I'm not here for, because, see, this is my problem with Senator Bernie Sanders and this radical left bullshit. He says all this stuff and talks about what he's going to do on day one, and don't ever think about the consequences, and don't ever have a follow-up question. I remember asking Senator Nina Turner this about Bernie Sanders when I had the pleasure of seeing her in 2016. I didn't get a direct answer out of her. Now she done finally came out of hiding, and they're going to talk about they're going to Senator Bernie Sanders. Now it's mighty funny. Now I hope somebody asked her the question. Now Senator Bernie Sanders is also on record talking about reparations for black people is divisive, or as I say in the South, divisive. Now, Senator Nina Turner, as a black woman who represented Oklahoma, what is your thoughts about your boy talking about we don't deserve reparations and seeming to be copping an attitude on the mere thought of reparations for black people? And of course, he's not alone. You know, Senator Kamala Harris is laughing it off, and she making it seem like every darn black person is poor, so she's assuming that, oh, 100, we gonna give a credit to anybody who's making under $100,000. Okay, that's not specific towards black people. You know, you can be poor white, poor Latino, poor Native American and fall into that same thing. We want something exclusive to us, just like Native Americans had something exclusive to them. It's just like darn Japanese people had something exclusive to them. But when it comes to black people, you want the darn do an all lives matter, let's everybody get a piece of the pie on some darn tax credit on 100K shit. We don't want no bipartisanship. The darn atrocity happened to us. Now, when it came to Jews and they darn atrocity, they got direct reparation. It wasn't no generalized darn discount for everybody. Since it's going to affect them the most. Oh, we just going to... No, you made sure to give them specifically that. So, Senator Kamala Harris is beating around the bush. Cory Booker is darn divisive it. And darn Bernie Sanders, of all people, is just doubling down on his darn oh, it's too divisive. What we're going to do is tackle inner city communities and all that. But I do believe Bernie Sanders is the oldest candidate running. And he was the direct recipient of said reparations for the Jews back during 1942. Because he was born in the 1930s. And didn't the Jews also receive reparations twice? But we ain't going to speak on that, though, are we, Senator Bernie Sanders? So, your people can get reparations twice. And it wasn't no adding Native Americans and black folks to it. Because the black Jews, ironically, ain't getting damn shit. So, not only did your folks get some, but you darn did like the Native Americans kicking out the Gullah Geechees and some of the black Cherokees. Now, I looked into my family. Now, my family didn't get kicked off, but some black Cherokees got kicked off the reservation. I'm learning about that. Now, y'all done kicked off some of the black Cherokees who didn't have paperwork and stuff. Now, some of my family wasn't affected. Actually, I don't know everybody, but the ones I do know wasn't affected by that. But still, the fact that other black Cherokees were kicked off the damn reservation. And then the Gullah Geechees are not recognized at all. And then you got the Tuscarsian, and I know I'm fucking up that name. I'm sorry. Charge it to my mind. Charge it to my mind, not my heart. The accordion Indians that are darker complexion. And we can go on and on. But your white Jews got the darn reparations. But now when it comes to black folks, oh, it's too divisive. How is it divisive? It's just as simple as a flick of the wrist on the pen. Now, you talking about going up in office and on day one making $15 an hour. You know, just fuck the, the registered nurses who making $14 an hour. Fuck the police officers who are making $14 an hour. Fuck the darn CNAs. Fuck the darn and I know let me stop with it because they're going to flag my video with all these F-balls, but F all the people who are in high prominent positions who are making between $12 to $15 an hour. You just going to sign in $15 an hour on day one with no second thought. And what that's going to do is it doesn't necessarily drive up inflation immediately. What it does is it make it very awkward for a lot of jobs. You're going to make it where it destabilizes a lot of industries. Because I'm going to tell you right now, a CNA and a LPN is not going to feel comfortable making the same salary as a darn high school student flipping a burger in darn McDonald's. Do we need a living wage? Yes, we do. Do we need to gradually increase it? Yes. Do we need to drastically increase it to $15 overnight? No, we do not. Because what that does is you have accountants, you have people in my career field such as marketers and stuff who has planned people's darn payroll and shit out over a year in advance. Your ass is talking about getting in motherfucking office and not giving anybody time to darn reallocate their darn funds and stuff. And then you're going to force people to darn start paying $15 an hour. That's going to fuck darn on people's payroll up and marketing stuff for people who are hiring work at home positions that it is at $10, $12 an hour, such as Teletech, Conduit, Concentrix, and other places. Now, Concentrix actually does offer $15 an hour, but other ones start at like $10 to $12 an hour. They got to raise their prices up, but you have marketers who've already started to set up the payroll for the whole year. Now they got to darn reallocate funds to help offset this darn bomb that just got dropped on them. And then another thing is, under Senator Bernie Sanders' proposal for free universal health care, I mean, not universal health care, that's a whole nother issue right there. Free college tuition for universities. Did y'all ever thought what was going to happen to the technical colleges if that shit happens? So if you're making free university colleges, where's the technical colleges going to go? The thousands of technical colleges? Is you going to give them time to even at least get another job first? Or are you just going to, at a flick of the wrist, just darn gonna make it universal college tuition for universities? And fuck all the darn hey, there I go again. I hope they don't flag me. But anyways, just all the darn technical college teachers. I need answers to this. But all of this is acceptable though. Y'all don't question Senator Bernie Sanders on all this or nothing. So thousands of people are going to be out of a job. Because you can just get free universal college tuition. And then another thing is, notice that he says college tuition in the present tense. He don't never focus on the past tense, because that's another thing I made a point to ask during the 2016 election. That's good for people who are, Generation Z, and some people in Generation Y. But what about us that already got college still? I ain't never heard nothing about, eradicating current college debt. If y'all really listen to the way he be talking about college debt in the future tense, in the future sense. He don't be talking about eradicating, people who already got 10 to 20,000, and then Lord knows some of y'all got $100,000 in college debt. He don't ever talk about college forgiveness for those. Erasing the $1 trillion deficit off of that. But instead, he talking about putting tens of thousands of deans and professors and stuff out of business from technical colleges. And don't offer no solution to where they're going to go. That's why I'm for, it ain't nothing wrong with technical community colleges. Number one, they're cheaper. They offer just as much, curriculum as if you was to go on to university at a cheaper price, and you don't have to stay on the darn on campus. And then when you go in and transfer to your university, you already got half your darn on credits, and you go in as a junior. And that way you don't have to be forced to stay on campus, because a lot of colleges, they like to force freshmen to stay on campus. You don't have to do that if you go to the technical college route and get your credits cheaper. You get your credits cheaper. They transfer right on over, and you start off as a darn on junior. And that way, when you darn on allocate funds for free technical college tuition, it don't put a heavy deficit on our darn on already $20 trillion budget. We already darn on $20 trillion in the damn hole. You darn on talking about all this darn on stuff, but you ain't proposing nothing to offset that darn on cost. You got to have a little business sense with this. You can't be radical going up in here talking about, oh, we're going to do this, do that. Where the money coming from, Bernie? Where the money coming from, Bernie? I'll wait. This is what I need to hear. See, it wouldn't have paid for me to be on the Breakfast Club or any of these other functions that he keeps tiptoeing to. See, he know to go down to the darn on Breakfast Club because they ain't going to really ask those darn on questions. You notice that his ass ain't marched down to darn on Roland Martin. Or, independent outlet, he'll go and go get his ass kissed over at the doggone Young Turks. But I'm going to shout out Phil. I don't half agree with his ass half the time. But, honey, Phil asked the tough questions. Phil the Advice Show. Shout out to him. Like I said, I disagree with him on certain stuff. Y'all know I don't get down with that Bible and stuff. But, still, when it comes to the questions, that's an outlet he could have went to. But you notice that he don't go to none of these doggone outlets that are going to ask him these types of questions. He don't face people like me on the campaign trail. He makes sure to avoid people like me. He made sure to avoid outlets like the Tom Joyner Morning Show and the Roland Martin Show and who else? I guess he leaves the Native Americans for doggone Senator Elizabeth Warren. But once again, I haven't heard anything out of Senator Bernie Sanders that warrants me giving him a vote for presidency. I honestly wish Hilary Clinton would darn gonna go again. I think y'all go ahead and cuss me out in the comment section. I don't give two damns. Like I said, after what I pointed out, the hypocrisy, that's the only thing y'all put on Hillary Clinton is the crime bill. And then y'all said her killing Osama bin Laden was bad. That's the only two things y'all just ignore the fact that she doggone got the South Carolina children out of the doggone adult prisons. That she's responsible for the budgeting for the 9/11 victims. Over $21 billion given. She has been the best doggone First Lady and Secretary of State when it came to providing funds for teachers. Even more so than Michelle Obama. And then the list goes on and on. From tackling the pharmaceutical industry to destabilizing the prison complex, which is pretty much like the modern day slavery system. So while Bernie Sanders is talking about free education for future people, you have Senator Clinton actually talking about destabilizing the prison industry, which is something that affects a lot of my people who are getting falsely arrested. If you destabilize the profit motive for prisons, they won't have no incentive to go and plant crack cocaine on black and Latino people, and they're going to throw them in prison. If you darn remove all those darn financial incentives. You didn't hear Bernie Sanders talking about that. Now he's starting to add that into his rhetoric. But you notice in 2016, he wasn't doing that. He now added that in. And y'all are here for it. But when Senator Clinton was advocating for it in 2016, y'all was trying to put the crime bill on her. But ironically, y'all didn't say a damn thing about Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, who actually had more to do with the crime bill as far as modifying it than the First Lady of the United States at the time. Hillary Clinton showed when she got in the proper positions of power how she changed stuff for the better. But Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, I'll wait. And I'm not saying that they are completely bad. Yes, they got some good things under their belt. But out of who's the most qualified, I'm still say Senator Clinton is the most qualified. And if you put her resume up against the current people in the darn gone running right now, I say that if you darn gonna look at her record, she should be the most qualified to go. And technically, she won the popular vote by 2.9 million. I'll venture to say over 3 million because we have seen that voter suppression is real. In North Carolina, we see what's going on right now in my darn old home state with District 9. That's just one district over from me. I'm in District 8. So, in District 9, we have voter fraud. In Florida, they stay having voter fraud. In Georgia, so pretty much all throughout the Deep South. She's the darn gone candidate that turned darn gone southern states into a major swing state. North Carolina almost went blue. And I feel if she was able to come back and advocate for a $12 an hour minimum wage, destabilizing the prison industry, legalizing marijuana, which she was for way back in 2016 as well, college tuition for free college tuition for technical colleges, along with eradicating current debt as well, I feel she will have a strong chance. And last but certainly not least, my financial proposal for the marginal tax rate. So let me pull that up real quick of what I propose for the marginal tax rate, and I'm going to end this on out. So back when I got, Senator ACO together, honey, I came out with my own version of the marginal tax rate. So the current tax rate is for people who make between $9,525 to $38,700, you're taxed at 12%. $38,000 to $82,000, 22%. 24, and so forth. With the highest being over $500,000, you're taxed at 37%. I will leave that down below in the description box. Mine is anybody who makes under $15,000 should be for free. $15,000 to $49,000 should only be taxed at 10%. $50,000 to $99,000 should be taxed at 25%. $100,000 through $499,000 should only be taxed at 30%. So currently, people who fall under that tax bracket of $200,000 to $500,000, you're being taxed at 35%. Under mines, from $100,000 to $499,000, you would be only taxed at 30%, which is a 5% decrease. Now, when you get up into the $1 million, I do believe you should be taxed a little bit more, but not as much as 70%. That is ridiculous. Senator Costas is talking about 70% tax on people who make over $10 million. Me, I believe for people who make $1 million to $9 million should only be taxed at 40%. 11 through 19 million should only be taxed at 45%, which is 25% cheaper than what Senator ACO is proposing. And then for people who make over $20 million should be taxed at 50%. Which is 20% cheaper, but still paying your fair share in taxes as somebody who is in the high class. So that is my breakdown. I don't believe that somebody who is making between $1 to $9 million should be taxed at the same rate as somebody who's making, the pay of Beyonce and Jay-Z. So somebody who's working on The View should not be getting taxed at the same rate as Beyonce. So yeah, that's why 1 to 9 million should only be taxed at 40%. People over 20 million should be taxed at 50%. And I believe, Senator Hilary Clinton will actually be game to open up to adopting that into her marginal tax rate plan to propose to the House of Representatives. What do y'all think? But anyways, if she don't run, I'm still, up in the air on who I'm going to go for. Because it's like all of them, I definitely can tell you Bernie Sanders, after I just told you all about him, I don't see it for him. Joe Biden, right now the best one I'm looking for, surprisingly, is darn on Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren seems like she's the most well-rounded and actually can calculate on some stuff. Like if you put this stuff in front of her, she will be willing to entertain. And that's a shame that a white woman would actually be more open to the conversation of destabilizing the prison industry, which is pretty much the modern day slavery, than two half black presidents, Senator Cory Booker and Senator Kamala Harris. It's a shame that I feel more confident in sitting down and, having a conversation with Senator Elizabeth Warren. And then when it came to the topic of reparations, once again, another white woman by the name of Merriam-Webster came up with a $100 billion proposal, which is still cheap as fuck. We darn gonna contribute $1.2 trillion annually. But you want to give us $100 billion, but then you want to do it over a course of 10 years. Girl, boo. But at least she came up with the proposal. Senator Kamala Harris and everybody else said no. Senator Kamala is talking about, oh, let's do a tax credit instead, which affects everybody. Only if you make under $100,000. Cory Booker laughed it off. Bernie Sanders said it was darn gone too divisive. Joe Biden is still up in the air. Cory Booker completely laughed it off. These are the people I should vote for. Like I said, it's going to be a sad doggone front on the Democratic side, honey. I don't feel confident in this. It's strongly looking like about 4 more years of Trump. Like I said, I see Elizabeth Warren as the best pick thus far out of all of this. But I want somebody to pick up this marginal tax plan that I've already set forth. So, like I said, the marginal tax rate, destabilizing the prison industry, legalizing marijuana nationwide, and then from there, getting people out of prison who are under jail for limited amounts of marijuana usage and possession, expunging it from their records so they are able to get jobs, allowing grants in black-owned banks such as One United, and making it fair across the board for black people to get into the industry of medical marijuana, destabilizing the prison industry complex, and last but not least, tackling the pharmaceutical industry. All which are Hillary Clinton's talking points, but I feel Elizabeth Warren comes the close when it comes to that. And then she also has added several other stuff on to that as well. That's what makes me think she's the best one thus far for president, in my opinion. But yeah, and like I said, overall on the Democratic front, it don't look good at all. Matter of fact, if a good Republican come out with some better proposals and is open to the conversation of reparations, destabilizing the prison industry, taking on a marginal tax rate more like mine, and forgiving student loan debt for people who already graduated, honey, I will vote straight Republican. I will go to Republican. I will vote Republican for the president if you can give me anybody, because I'm not one to choose sides. If you give me a Republican candidate who can propose or who can take on the stuff that I just said, I swear I will vote for the Republican. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to vote down the board. Y'all know I like to do independent, because I don't like to go blindly through either one party, because I find both of them are fucked up in some ways. You know, Republicans are more fucked up than anything. But there are some good Republicans up in there. So, like I said, if there's any Republicans that are coming out and y'all find out that they're doing stuff that aligns more with what I propose in this video, definitely darn gonna message me, and I would darn gonna entertain possibly voting for them. But right now on the Democratic front, the only one I'm looking at probably right now is Senator Elizabeth Warren, honey. And that's very likely. I need some more answers on what she's going to do with reparations. She's talking good when it comes to the college debt forgiveness. And darn going to, and that's another thing. We got to get with this Green Deal. That's a whole nother video. I'm going to have to, yeah, that's a whole nother video. But anyways, give me y'all thoughts, tips, comments, suggestions down below. Like this video if it was helpful to you. Subscribe for more videos. We're going to talk about the Green Deal in the next video. What else are we going to talk about? Updates as it come along with the presidency. But I'm definitely going to talk about the Green Deal. Oh, and more about the marginal tax rate and the tackling the pharmaceutical industry. And that is it, y'all. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see y'all soon with more videos. Mwah.